you should aim to learn things and apply what you learn on something that you are interested in, because that would motivate you to learn and really understand what you have learned.
Welcome to the So, You Want to Be a Data Scientist podcast, where we interview awesome data scientists and other data professionals. This show is part of the website So, You Want to Be a Data Scientist.com. Visit the website to get access to articles and other resources on becoming a data scientist, like my free data science Kickstarter course. And if you like the episode, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. But for now, enjoy the episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of So, You Want to Be a Data Scientist podcast. Today, I have Khuyen Tran with me. She is the data scientist at Signals.ai. Welcome, Khuyen.
Hi, sir. I'm happy to be in the show.
Thanks for being here and thanks for taking the time to be on the show. So, our first question: what does Signals.ai do?
So we are a team of geeks working on problems related to natural language processing, visual recognition, text extraction, and transcript. Um, the models are then finally applied to review content across the web to identify trends related to government sector, industries, healthcare, um, etc.
Nice. That sounds very interesting. But apart from your work at Signals.ai, you also have a blog where you talk about data science, right?
Yeah, so I write a lot of topics about data science, like how data science is a big field. So, um, I write about Python. I write about natural language processing, time series, and tips to learn data science, and also different data science tools that I discover while working.
Nice. So you also talk about some of the things that you discovered during your work.
Yeah, mainly I got the ideas for my articles from um, my researching at my work.
Nice. Well, that sounds very interesting. I'll make sure to leave a link to your Medium profile on the show notes
Mhm.
so everyone can go and check it out. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
you're a data scientist right now, but how did you end up where you are? Can you tell us a bit about your journey?
Yeah. So about 1.5 years ago, I was a sophomore in college. So right now I'm still like in college. Um, 1.5 years ago, I majored in math, and I want to know what I want to do with my major. And I want to apply it. I don't want to like just study math for the sake of it. So I attended a math conference, and the speaker was math PhD, and he right now he's a data engineer, and he talked about how fascinated it is to be a data engineer and what he liked about his job. So after the conference, I just asked him about, okay, what is data engineer and what is data science and how I can get into the field. And he introduced me to, different materials to learn about it. And I get hooked from there. Um, so I would learn data science whenever like I have free time, like after my classes. Um, and I start writing articles at least once per week. Um, the reason why I write articles in the first place was because I want to share my knowledge. But it become more and more popular. Then I got like a lot of offers for job. That's how I got my first two data science internship and my current job as a data scientist.
That's very interesting. So you first started writing, and then your writing became very popular, and that led to you
Yeah,
getting some offers.
yeah. That's I was really surprised by like, because before I applied for like 100 in like internships or data science position, but I hear like two or three back. But after like my articles get popular, people just come to me and offer me jobs, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's a really great example of showing really, showing your work, showing your knowledge online just for
Mm-hmm.
the sake of it
Mm-hmm.
can help your career. So that's really great.
Right.
So you studied or you're still studying math at the university, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, did you take any other qualifications like boot camps, online courses, or another degree to become a data scientist?
Yeah. So I initially take like a machine learning course of Andrew Ng. Um, but I don't know, like how do I go from here? And then I took like a one, I study Python by book, and I take like one or two more courses on how to analyze data with Python. And then, I just feel like, okay, it's time for me just to apply my knowledge for something. And yeah, that's how I got better. I think I got better in data science um, in the most part because I did a lot of projects, real world project on data science.
And were these projects part of your internships or did you come up with them? Oh, excuse me for interrupting you, past Mistra, but I have something important to share with your listeners. If you want to upgrade your career and become a data scientist, you need some experience. Period. Employers don't really care about how many online courses you've taken or how many hours of Python tutorials you watched. They just want to be able to trust you to conduct a project independently. And do you have that skill already? Well, if not, head over to my course, Hands on Data Science, complete your first portfolio project, and you'll be on your way to impress future employers in no time. You can find the link in the show notes.
I before I have an internship, I would like working on like answer something that I'm curious about. Like, I read a book about how depression can be related to um the amount of sun in that country. So I go to Wikipedia and scrape the data and try to analyze it to see if there's any correlation. Then I write an article about it. Um, yeah, I mean, I have been really into like just how can I use this? How can I use my knowledge to do something that I'm curious to answer the question that I'm curious about.
Yeah, that's a really good approach, I think. And maybe this is a good time for me to remind our audience that I also recently published a new course called Master the Data Science Method, where we do exactly this hands on data science work, where we find the data, analyze it, and take it all the way to the end, training and tuning a machine learning algorithm, and even preparing it to look portfolio ready. So if you're also interested in doing hands-on work, maybe go check it out. I'll also make sure to leave the link in the show notes. But yeah, so that's a really good journey, really interesting journey that you went through. And so you mentioned a little bit that you saw someone talk about data engineering or data science, and you were very interested in it. But was there any other reason that got you hooked on data science?
Um, all the reason so all the reasons are it actually start from like how I get interested in math because I'm interested in learning math just because I want to solve challenging problems, and I think data science really gives me some hard problem to solve. And another thing I like about data science is like you can be creative with the knowledge that you have. Like one question doesn't have one absolutely best answer. um if I want to find the good answer for my problem, I need to combine different knowledge that I obtain to um, solve a problem. That's what I want to say. And another thing is like data science is a really fast growing field, and I can learn new knowledge every day. And it's just like it makes me really excited every time I learn new knowledge. It's not becomes boring.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the best things about data science. I think it's still so such in like an evolving state that you might actually be implementing things that was published 20 days ago. So that's
Right.
always very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. And do you have a plan for the coming years of your career? Where would you like to go?
So right now I'm a student, and I work at a data scientist, and I want to keep working while I'm obtaining the degree. Um, I I'm not sure, so I have like a mix emotion about getting a master degree, but I still consider about it. If I want to get a master degree in data science, I want to make sure it's something new, that I didn't have the opportunity to learn in my job. Um, so yeah, I think I would want to get a master degree if I found something that is new and I want to do more research on it or learn more about that field.
And okay, so I don't know if this is possible because every company has a different level of confidentiality, but can you give us some examples of the projects that you've done? It could also be projects that you've done at your internships.
Yeah, I could say about what I do in my current job. So, we are working on we are using different natural language understanding engines to extract the sentiment and test how good it is. So what we see is that some results are good, but some are not as good as we expected. Um, we think it might be because the engines are trained on different data, and we are using that engines to predict the sentiment of a different kind of data. So it's not as good as we expect. So we are trying to improve upon the model so it can give a better prediction.
Okay, that's very interesting. And at the end of these projects, what do you typically deliver? What is your deliverable?
I often work on experiment with different ideas and write production code. Um, so in the end of the day, I deliver models and deliver um, the code that is ready for the data engineer to ship into production.
Okay, nice. So it's like heavily code based, basically. You do a lot of coding, I guess. Yeah.
Right, right.
Nice, nice. It's pretty cool because it's very nice to see the difference. Because when I talk to people who are consultants, and who are data scientists, but their position is kind of like a consultancy position, it's very their deliverables tend to be very different, which is sometimes even like help with decision making or preparing presentations. But it sounds like what you're doing is more like hardcore coding and actual machine learning development.
Yeah,
Nice.
right.
And okay, can you tell us a bit about like how does a normal weekday look like for you? You wake up, you sit in front of computer, and what kind of tasks do you do then?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit different in a way that I'm also a student. So I often schedule my work time around my classes. So I would wake up in the morning and yes, sit in front of my laptop and work until I have classes. And then after classes, I start to work, continue working. Sometimes I work until late at night because I don't have as much time to work during the daytime, and we would have the meeting 3 days per week. So um, maybe in the afternoon, I will have a call with my manager and teammate to tell them about what I have been working on and how the result looks like, and discuss the next steps. I also set 2 or 3 small goals uh, at the beginning of the day for what I want to accomplish that day and try to accomplish that goal by the end of the day.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good plan or a very good strategy to approach things. But how much of this is data cleaning or machine learning model development or other tasks that might come with your work?
Yeah, it actually, how do I say, a lot of my work is, I spend a lot of time on data cleaning
Mm-hmm.
because, and feature engineering. Um, and also testing my code. Um, and a small fraction of that I working on. I think it's really different. In different period, I work heavily on different things. Like sometimes I will work like really heavily on trying new ideas, but like the rest of the time I will work heavily on how to write the code that my teammates will understand and they can use it for I would say to put the model into production.
Okay, and so I mean, you mentioned that you're also looking for ways to improve a certain algorithm. Can we also then say maybe part of your work is sort of research, trying to find better algorithms or better ways to work something?
Yeah, a lot of my work is like research. um so what I often do to like find the way to um improve upon my model is to read different resources like book or articles, or seek to understand some research paper and try to find their code, because I like when I find some research paper and they have the code, so I don't need to code everything from scratch.
Yeah, of course. I know that's also one of my favorite things to find research paper with code on GitHub.
Yes, really nice. No, I say you're getting the cutting edge uh, stuffs without too much work on trying to writing things from scratch.
Yeah, definitely. That's the sweetest. And you mentioned that you have meetings with your manager, but other than that, do you do a lot of people facing work? Do you have a lot of meetings during the day?
No. I have like meeting 3 times per week. And another team meeting once per week. But other than that, I don't think I have really a lot of meetings.
Okay, that's good. So, as we said before, your work is very focused on development. And what are the tools that you use often? This could be, programming languages, IDEs, or deployment tools.
So I work a lot with Python. I mainly use Python, VS Code, um, Slack, Notion, um, IBM Watson. Yeah, those are the tools that I most frequently um, work with.
I see. Nice. So, IBM Watson you use for some of the AI functionalities.
Yeah. So as I told you, like we use some engines, natural language understanding engines, and IBM Watson is one of them.
Yeah, maybe it's a good time to remind our audience IBM Watson was the robot that won the Jeopardy game back in, I don't remember, 10 years ago or something. So it's a very strong natural language understanding tool. Awesome. So, okay. So you are a student still and you already have a data scientist job. And what would you say the most exciting thing is about your job right now?
I would say to learn um, new thing every day, and like what I'm excited the most about is I'm able to solve the really challenging problem um, with something that by combining different tools and knowledge together. So that's what I'm most excited about, to be able to make something.
Awesome. And what about the most boring part of it?
Um, I would say the tedious tasks that repetitively tedious tasks. I remember like before, what I often do is go to the website and then like download the data every day, and it's kind of tedious and can be time consuming. Um, so after you know few weeks doing that, I decided to cooperate with another data engineer to automate this process. And now the data is being pulled every day automatically. So it's kind of nice.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we have all the technologies under our hands to automate a lot of the boring job, right? I mean, there are still things that we can't automate yet, but wherever you can do that is very useful.
Right. I hear from like, so my the data engineer, my coworker, he told me like, if you do something like more than 3 times, you should automate it. And I think like, oh, it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good rule of thumb. And another thing that I'm curious about is how is being a woman in this area? Do you encounter any bias during your work or at school?
Um, so yeah, I mean, I found myself in a lot of situation where I'm the one of the really few woman in the room, or in my classes and in my work. But I really don't feel like you know I am the woman. I mean, in the way that I don't feel myself different from other people, other my teammates, because they treat me equally as other team members. And if I deliver good results, they respect my results, and um, they respect me as a data scientist. Not they don't treat me differently from others.
That's great. That's really good to hear that you haven't experienced any bias. And last question: do you have any advice for an aspiring data scientist or someone who wants to get into a data career?
I would say, so for those who are getting into, they want to get into data science field. um, I think like you should aim to learn things and apply what you learn on something that you are interested in, because that would motivate you to learn and really understand what you have learned. And another thing is to share what you learn, because I feel like the world is need more of the knowledge that individual people have, because I believe that everybody had different kind of knowledge. And if even it's like really simple, people would appreciate it if they know how to make something that they are doing work better.
Totally agree. Everyone has a different perspective in life, right? So maybe your perspective will work for someone or help them understand something that they didn't understood before. So that's a very very good point. I think it's by sharing we can make it easier for everyone around us, not just only ourselves. Thanks a lot, Huyen. Thanks a lot for being here. It was a really great talk, and I'll see you around.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
Hey, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to take my free data science Kickstarter course to learn what it takes to become a data scientist. See you next time.